Making a movie isn't just the writing of the script or the shooting or the editing. It's like your whole entire life.
That right there is why I think Damien Chazelle movies are so popular. I think it's a balance between gratitude and like passion.
This was one of the best things I did for myself, I think, like career-wise. Richard, so you graduated USC Film School a month ago. How's life been?
Yeah, I mean, this past month I've been traveling with my parents and my friends. Went to Yosemite for the first time. It was beautiful, and then went on a camping trip with some of my buddies here at USC for 5 days. Both were really great experiences for many reasons. One of them being, I feel like in the past month, from like late May to like now late June, I've had like the least amount of screen time.
Oh,
Probably in a long time, if you just count the month, like a 30-day period, because I was just so entrenched in nature and spending time with family and friends that I think I really needed that. It was like such a clean, like I didn't really think about my career or film or AI or it was just nature. And I think what's so beautiful about that is that I think we've really made, or at least the U.S. and the departments that are in charge of making sure that these spaces remain intact, have really done a good job of making sure that they are just nature and that's it. I mean, obviously there are like campsites and there are tourist stations set up, but for the most part Yosemite is still the way it is naturally. And just, I don't know, it puts things into, I mean, I'm not the biggest camping, backpacking person, or national park person, but being able to be in the like such natural environments, also knowing that the park has been what it's like for like the past just hundreds of years, if not thousands, not sure of the exact number, but it's just a wonderful thing to think about that, like, despite all the negative things that are happening around us, like the park is still just the park. Like all my personal struggles, all of my anxieties, the universe just kind of almost it's not bothered by my own anxieties. It just simply exists. Yosemite is still there. Catalina is still there. The animals are still just there chilling, living their life. I don't know. I really kind of really needed that kind of perspective, because I think this past year, really the second half of my college time here, has been so filled with uncertainty and anxiety and confusion that it was really nice to really take a break and be in tune with nature and just relax for a little bit. Now that I'm back at it, I think I have a more like laid back and chill, but also I think clearer perspective on things. I'm definitely ready to jump back in, but it's been a great time just staying out of that. But transitioning to you, what have you been up to this past month after the end of your junior year?
Yeah, dude. I mean, first of all, I'd like to really appreciate what you said about just calming yourself down in nature. I think that's so important, and more people need that, really.
Absolutely.
I think there's a psychological thing that being out in the wilderness and the green of the leaves and the fresh air does to a human body. That kind of reminds you, like, that's kind of the whole point.
Yeah, it
Right?
is the whole point. Yeah.
The point is to have a happy and joyful life where you can, be in tune with who you are. And, it's easy to just lose yourself in the anxieties of AI and the future on social media and doom scrolling where the algorithm tells you how to think. That's such a great thing, I think, what you did to spend time out in nature. And for me, it was I didn't get to spend as much time in nature, but I got to spend a lot of time with my family, which also is such an important part of who I am. I'm such a I do believe like family is everything to me. Um, Shout out to Vin Diesel. And yeah, dude, I was just in China hanging out with my grandparents, showing them the movie I made for them that I'm editing right now, so it'll be out soon.
Mm-hmm.
And spending time with my parents too, because throughout the school years I don't spend a lot of time with them, and sometimes I do feel a little guilty for being having so much fun in LA while not really being with my family. So it was really a lot of healing from that part of myself. And yeah, I came back feeling like the summer's over because I spent so much time in China,
I was feel
but
that, yeah.
also summer just kind of started too
Mm-hmm.
because I came back early June, spending time with my girlfriend and also like just locking in for the just to build myself up before my last year,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean everything I do now is to prepare for what you are at now is like the real world, right? So like locking in, getting projects off the ground, really improving my skills as a filmmaker. And I think, I mean, I don't know at the end of the day, like exactly where I'm going to end up, but I do want to be a director at least at the moment. And everything I do is working towards that goal of being able to tell stories for a big audience. And I'm excited to do that. Just, I think the summer is a great time to spend on repairing a lot of things you can't do during the school year or enough of, and just kind of leveling up your skills and building the foundations of everything. Because we're still young. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like we're not even 30 yet. Like everything we do right now, it's gonna be fairly inconsequential compared to what we do in the future. So I think it's a really good time to build a solid foundation to have like make our next years the best. Maybe
Yeah,
I don't want to peak in college.
that's a great way to put it. I think I forget who what's his name is, but like I keep seeing clips of this. I think like business guru person. I forget his name, but he a lot of people ask him like, oh, I feel so behind or lost, and he asks like, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 32, and he's like, dude, you got like all the time in the world, really, if you think
Yeah.
about it. And then even now I'm like, 30. That's in like 10 years. I feel that's a pretty long time, but at the same time, everyone keeps telling me, my dad, my parents, my instructors, professors, like it's only gonna get faster, and like 10 years is just gonna fly by like that. But at the same time, you also kind of have to take it one step at a time and realize that like there's literally like you're literally nobody is stopping you from doing what you want to do and going at it.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a tricky balance, but going off of that, like we've spent some time off, and I think one of the most important parts of a career, right, in filmmaking, this is what this podcast is all about, is life that aren't necessarily very much involved in filmmaking. I think one of the reasons why the show Severance is so popular is because a lot of people relate to the feeling of having two versions of yourself. One where it's just work, and the other is like you outside of that. Um, Obviously, it delves into other more trickier areas, but I do think it also kind of applies to filmmaking, because for me personally, one of the things I talk about a lot about with my friends and family is how my relationship with filmmaking has changed over the years. It went from like a hobby that I was secretly wishing that I was able to do down the line in the future, way down the line,
Mm-hmm.
and I just kept doing for fun because I really loved it as a hobby. Like there was school, there was sports, there was my social life, there was everything that make up most of my life, and then there was like the 10% dedicated to filmmaking, and that's where I drew a lot of my joy came from, that of like watching movies, being inspired by them, learning from YouTube videos. But now it's kind of overtaken everything. Now it's for the past 4 years really. It's been, okay, I guess more like 3 years of like school is film, life is film. My weekends are on set, I watch movies for fun, as a hobby, as like my downtime. And it really does come up to a point, and I think a lot of us experience this, I think yourself included, where it's like, well, where's the pastime from that? You know, where's the version of me that isn't at work, that isn't in filmmaking? Um, I am curious though, like how you personally deal with that yourself. Like, we've got this podcast going on, you have a YouTube channel, you're making like a short documentary, just finished editing Teenhood. Um, like, I'm sure there's a lot going on that's outside of filmmaking, but how do you go about balancing and really integrating, I think is the right word, of like things that are outside of trying to break into the industry, trying to learn about it, trying to perfect your craft,
I
with
mean,
things within it.
I think everything you just named just now were all film related things, like
Yeah.
the podcast and YouTube. But I do think it's important to have a life outside of just making the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Though, when you do have a life, that life is part of making a movie. If you think about it,
Absolutely.
you know, making a movie isn't just the writing of the script or the shooting or the editing. It's like your whole entire life. You're constantly making a movie by living. And I think, though, I mean, that being said, having things to do that gets your mind off the physical production of a movie, it's very healthy. Like what you said about being in nature, I think one of the best things, just being physical and kind of, using your body, not just sitting down all day, like playing a sport, going to the gym. I think it really makes you mentally a lot more clear when you do sit down and you're on the grind, so you don't burn out. And also, I also think, like, it is hard to find that balance too, though, because, what do you think, like, makes these some of the greatest filmmakers that great? I think it's that they are all in on movies. I don't think there's any of the great directors who are like, maybe 20% of my life I'll do movies, or, they're like 90% of their life is movie. And it's tricky, right? It's like, well, what do you want? Do you want to be one of the great directors, or do you want to just have a happy life? And there's no wrong answer, right? And it's just, you can't have like necessarily like a relaxing, chill life, but also want to be one of the greatest directors of all time. And I think that's something I've been really battling with, is even like with having a successful business or career, it's like you do have to sacrifice a lot of your life, your happiness for these
Everything
things.
costs something. Yeah.
For sure. And if all your goal is just to be happy, you don't need to be the greatest director of all time or make $1 million or something like that. You can be happy doing anything.
Yeah.
But I think that's not what the only thing we were chasing, right?
Yeah.
So I think just really constantly reflecting on what we want and what it is that drives us and our values is so important. Like every 3 months, I would sit down by myself and like kind of review my goals and like what's been happening in my life, what I need to change. And I think it's been really helpful. And I also have a journal called Who I Am, because I do feel like I do a lot of different things, but I really wanted to figure out like what is it that makes me who I am. Though I don't think it's good to put labels on yourself, like no one's shy or no one's an extrovert, because you are everyone. You are everything. And I think that's something you learn in acting class, which I've been doing, is that there is no person that's just shy. You are shy usually, but I mean, there are times you're not shy, right? Like if you're with your friends. And I think you don't want to put yourself in a box, but you also do want kind of a direction of where you're headed. And all this is to say, like, just keep going towards your goal, and your goals can change, but it is good to have a goal. And to really, if your goal is to be one of the greatest directors of all time, you just gotta know, like, you might not have the happiest or the easiest life outside, right? But if that's what brings you value and fulfillment to yourself, then that's what you'll do, and that's what you'll be happy doing, I think.
Yeah. That right there is why I think Damien Chazelle movies are so popular and well liked. I think he really gets to the heart of like what a lot of people like us and people who might not even be engaged in the arts specifically, like you could be an athlete, you could be literally anybody in the world,
Yeah.
and they all have a goal. And all I think all of his movies explore the idea of like, what is the cost of dreams, and why do we go after this thing when we could totally just enjoy a very simple and laid back and you know life, which is there's nothing wrong with it, right? Like, why do we go to the moon? Why do we want to be the greatest drummer of all, one of the greats, right? Like, why
Yeah.
do we want to be a jazz pianist or an actress when we could do something else? And I don't know. I think that's why it's so. Yeah, his movies. He has risen as like a filmmaker in not just within the film community. I think a lot
Right.
of my friends would know who he is, who are not
Oh, for
even
sure.
in this industry. But yeah, going back to that, like yeah, like um, I don't know, something I really enjoy, um, a line that I really like from the movie Boyhood is the moment seizes us, and I keep forgetting that. Um, one of my like ways of going at my own life after during COVID was gratitude. That's something I had to learn kind of the hard way. Because everything was going wrong, and that's all I could focus on. Like there was COVID, there was remote school, I did not have any social life my senior year of high school because I did school remotely, and everything was on Zoom. I started my day at like 10:30 p.m. for classes, and there was construction going on in the morning in my apartment building, so it woke me up at 7 every morning when I ended classes at 2. And I'm just like, why is everything so terrible? But I think over time, one lesson I learned from that was gratitude and knowing that there's so much going for you at every moment. Um, and I think I've started to forget that a little bit over the years, and I think I really need to um, almost look at my life from like an omniscient point of view and go like, like I have the most loving family that are here to support me. I have the best friends who are here for me. Um, I just graduated from my dream school. Like these are things that I think we all have like negativity bias,
Hmm.
and so I think it's nice to go back and just be like, you know, there's so much going right. Like chase almost like chase after that, right?
Yeah.
What more can you make right in a way, right? So I don't know. I think it's a balance between gratitude and like passion and like drive,
Mm.
because gratitude assumes that you're content, and that's totally fine. That's totally amazing. But at the same time, we also have this goal of like being a working director, and there's this really large gap between where we are and where we want to be.
Mm.
And I think it's just in finding and integrating this balance between gratitude and drive and passion.
Right.
Is that something I'm trying to do? And one thing I do in my journal is like writing down what I'm grateful for, but then also what my goals are,
Mm.
so that I don't forget both. Sometimes I can be so caught up with my goals that I forget the things that I am truly grateful for. But at the
Mm.
same time, if I'm only focusing on things that I'm just content with or happy about,
Mhm.
then like a lot of times I lose that drive or motivation to achieve greater things. Um,
Oh,
I don't
for
know.
sure.
It's a tricky balance for me.
Everything's about that balance. Yeah, it's hard. And even though like I do hope to one day to be like, a great director in Hollywood or whatever film industry is there, and I still think I want to be like a family man first.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think if I have a family in the future, like I don't, like, it would be hard for me to put a movie before my family, the
Yeah.
people I love.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, there's an argument that like movies live longer or whatever, but it's like, I don't know. I don't think my value has always been like I want to be with my family and support
Yeah.
them any way I could, and But I hope, I'm sure, like, it's hard to see, but I'm sure there's a way to be a great movie director, also be a great dad, be,
Oh, absolutely.
you know,
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
a nice life, but also make some of the best art in history. Like, I don't think you have to be a tortured artist,
Yeah, I,
you
I,
know.
I don't. That's like that's an archetype. I think we need to really reevaluate. I don't think that's necessary for making great art. A lot of very chill and laid back and fun and chill and just very normal human being also make some of the best art out there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't think. I mean, one thing my professor Daniel Noah talks
Mm-hmm.
about in our class is like, uh, you can be an artist, but you still have to pay your taxes. So like, stay on top of things. Don't let like art be something that you like completely overtakes you and like become so obsessed with it that you lose grip on like
Right.
your life outside of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, once we get older, I'm sure, like, you know, what we do matter affects a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as in, like, whether we have a job or not will affect our family. If they can go to school, and I think, yeah, for sure. I think you gotta consider more than just yourself in the future. Um, and it's tough, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think starting this podcast forever ago, I was kind of nervous about where my career would head, but honestly, even spending a month in China with my family made me realize that why do you need to figure it out now? You'll figure it out on the
It's the
way.
thing. Yeah, exactly. That is a really healthy mindset, I think.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
opportunities come, like, left and right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, even for some examples, like, I remember I was on Instagram, and within like a span of a week, there was like I saw an opportunity to be an intern for a director. I saw a job posting. I saw this gig. There's that gig, and I just know, like, yeah, I can't take these now because I'm still going to school. But when I'm out of school, once people know that I'm hireable, you know, that they're gonna be there still. Like, you're gonna be able to grab onto stuff that comes your way, and it's like, I don't think you're gonna be there at the end of the day, and whether you get there by worrying or you get there by not worrying, the outcome is still gonna be the same,
Yeah.
if not better, for the not worrying side of you.
Yeah.
Though, if you do overthink, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. People who overthink tend to care more, and that's more important than honestly not caring and being nonchalant about everything too.
Yeah.
You know.
Again, it's about that balance. I watched the Life of Chuck recently, and
Uh,
I really love that movie. And one of the things it talks about or explores is um, how like each of us contains a universe, like all the things that we see, the people that we know, and as we get older and we start to forget things, and as we, you know, inevitably near our deaths, that universe starts to die. I love the way Stephen King and Mike Flanagan explores
mm,
that in the story. Yeah, it's like you talked about. You know, we move other people in ways we don't know. And
yeah.
we have, I don't know. It's a beautiful film that kind of reminds us how much there is to be happy about and grateful for.
Yeah.
Um,
Stephen King, shout out. Such a goat.
he's
You
the
know?
goat. I need to catch up on his writing and his films. The stuff that's been
Yeah.
adapted to film and TV and the stuff that's just writing. I need to just read more of his stuff.
No, I agree. And,
Um,
like, I remember last Thanksgiving, I was having a conversation with our friend Octavian about my fear of death, kind of, in a way, and my fear of not existing one day. And he recommended, and then later gifted me as a Christmas gift, a book that kind of changed his outlook on life and death. And the book is called Pet Cemetery by
mm,
Stephen King. So I'm
yeah.
gonna start reading that in the next few days. I'm really
You know
excited.
what? Now that you talk about it, I think one of the central themes he explores
Uh,
in all of his work is death.
Yeah.
It's the same with Stand By Me.
Uh,
And the story, I think it was called The Body. It's
yeah.
about 4 kids looking for a dead body that they heard
Yeah.
about in the forest. And yes, it is about that part is about death. It's very much about that. But like, yeah, it's also about like 4 kids realizing in retrospect that that was something that they were never gonna get back in their life, and that as they go near towards death, like that was something that they cherished. I don't know. He's a
Yeah.
master at like
He is.
such simple ideas and simple sensibilities, but putting it in such a interesting and earnest way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And recently, speaking of stuff we've been doing this last month, um, I started taking an acting class
Right.
at
Yeah.
Howard Fine Acting Studio, the place where serious actors come to learn. And I hope I didn't butcher that, but this was one of the best things I did for myself, I think, like career wise, because for the longest time I really had that gap in me where I was a very visual and editing and like writing director, but I was not like a performance guy. Like I didn't do theater as a kid. I wasn't an actor myself. So, you know, I started realizing that I did have that whole gap. And when I came here, like we were told to read 2 books, his own book, Howard Fine, Fine on Acting, and Una Hagen's A Challenge for the
Yeah.
Actor.
Mm.
And first of all, I would like to say that the Howard Fine book like completely changed how I saw acting. It was so amazing and so insightful and practical, and it really gave me a perspective of what it makes and what it takes to be a great actor. And taking his class, he just took that book to the next level where he would put this book to practice. I did for the first day of class, he went through his whole book and like a lot of the things was just all lecture based, and he was telling us what it is that makes a good actor, how to get better, and what it means to be like the character itself. You're not playing a role. And the second class, we did a whole exercise where we had a neutral scene and we had a scene partner where we had to perform that scene for the whole class. And he gave the most brutally honest like feedback to everybody. And for my scene, he really like he doesn't say good job a lot, which I really honestly appreciate because he cares a lot. You can tell. And I was suggested that my voice wasn't like that big of a range, and he really suggested me to do singing lessons
Mm.
and maybe even do therapy on figuring out why that I'm kind of soft spoken. Like it's true. Like he asked me like he's like, you don't raise your voice really ever, right? And I was like yeah, like how did he know? And he can tell through my performance. And he would also talk about like not fidgeting, how you just can't be shaking your legs, moving back and forth, which
Right.
I do a
Yeah,
lot.
blinking too. That's a big part.
Oh, yeah, and
Blink. Yeah.
he talks about not using the filler word like,
Mm.
which is really funny. And I've been trying to be more mindful of that. I don't really use it all that often. Sometimes I would say it. Yeah, it's just such a great experience. And then today's class, we had David Corey, his partner,
Mm.
who founded the studio. And that guy's a legend in memorization and voice. That's his specialty. And today's class, we were doing an emotional recall exercise where we had to bring 2 pieces of things that mean a lot to our lives. And we would go sit in front of the class in front of him and just have a one-on-one conversation after you pick one of the objects and just talk about it. Like, what is that? Why does it mean a lot to you? What came up in your thought? And what was so powerful was that more than almost the entire class, like, cried. Like, people brought in like different things that really reminded me of people they really cared about in the past, and it was really crazy to see like how they were able to embody that emotion by that like remembering of that thing in their heads. And I remember this one person did a thing and he fed him a line, and he said that line during that emotional scene. That's not something you could just fake. You can't fake unconditional love. You can't like just act it. You have to really feel it, because acting is what makes it compelling. Is what we were taught is the animal side of us, the side that isn't perfect, that you can't predict what's going to happen. That's what makes us not AI, right? AI does things that it thinks people do because it's programmed that way, but you don't know what some people could do, right? And that's what's so beautiful about the craft, and that's what makes a great actor versus a okay actor, is that mindset. And we're taught how to build that journal of emotional experiences that, you know, if you have to play a character who feels guilt and then anger and then joy, what are the things you can recall in your mind that instantly puts you in that mood? And what is the thing that can instantly bring you out of it? Because you don't want to harm your mental health. And that was a huge thing. There was this one person who was just crying nonstop. Like, it really hit that person. And he was saying, if you say the word Mickey, you just can't cry anymore. You say it out loud. And that word just like takes you out of it. And he also says, say the word line, I'm here, not there, or like something like that. And it was just like ways to bring you out of it. And the whole thing emphasizes a lot on mental health and getting over past trauma and using it in a healthy way, like, and personalizing. And this is a lot of what Uta Hagen taught. And the guy Howard Fine was a friend of Uta Hagen back in the day, and that's why this class was just like so perfect. And this is 3 classes in. I still have like 9 classes to go, so I'm really excited. And they really do take it seriously. Like, they start class early. Like, they don't start on time. They start early. If you're even 1 minute late, the door's locked. You can't get in.
Wow.
And they've already kicked someone out of that class, first class.
Wow.
Because he was speaking when he wasn't supposed to. And I remember Howard Fine, Mr. Fine, was like, yeah, I mean, I taught Mike Tyson.
Really? Wow.
And he was like, Mike Tyson spoke when he wasn't supposed to. And I told him to sit down and speak to me when he's allowed to.
Wow.
And he's like, if I can deal with him, I can deal with this guy who got kicked out. Yeah. It was quite an experience. And they were the people who taught, like, they were the people who got Austin Butler the role of Elvis.
Oh, I think I've heard of them.
Yeah.
I know that story. Yeah.
They're quite incredible. They've
Yeah.
taught so many like talented Hollywood legends.
Yeah.
And just to learn from them was quite an experience. And he, like, today's class was really cool because he could almost read your mind. Like, he watches your body language. He's so present. Like, I've never met a guy who's as present as that guy. Like, he was, and also the Mr. Corey, like, that guy, he talks like Matthew McConaughey.
Really?
And
he's
he's super stylish, you know?
Yeah.
And it was just so cool, like, being in that experience and like just seeing how present he was when he was talking to me. Then he was talking to another guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, are you a filmmaker? And the guy was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I felt the same vibe as I felt with Jiayang earlier. And I was like, what? Like, that guy did not give filmmaker vibe, I feel like, at all. But he picked up on that. And he also picked up, something just came up in your mind. What was it? It was like, wow, like, there's so much to this craft. And it honestly reminds me of what the beauty of making movies and acting is.
Yeah.
It's quite incredible, yeah.
That's really interesting because the actor friends who are actors of mine, they do tend to be, first of all, more present. That's what I find to be true. I mean, Finn was on our podcast. I backpacked with him in Catalina, and I got to spend some time with him. And, I mean, I've known him for almost 4 years now, and one of the things I noticed from him that he does more often than others is, one, he's, I think, more present in a lot of scenarios, whether it's just a conversation or hang out with friends or at a party or, in this podcast. Yeah. But he's also very much cognizant of the people around him and how they are reacting to his presence. I don't know. I think it's just his profession almost affecting in a good way, I think. Like, the way he goes about his living, you know, like being present and um, just noticing very tiny mannerisms or eye movements or head movements or body movements that can really inform a lot
Yeah.
of who that person is. And like, there's this video on YouTube, I think it's by Thomas Flight. I'm not sure if you watch him.
Oh, okay. Yes.
He had a video essay about like in praise of subtle acting.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you know,
I
a lot
love
of
that
us,
video.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
us sort of think of acting as like big explosive movements or like monologues. And obviously those are great. Like that's kind of what we remember, but if I'm being honest, like some of the moments that really get me in a movie, that really like hit me, are like a 2 second switch, a 2 second change of a facial expression, or like a 5 second like movement of the hand, or blinking of the eye, or movement of the head. That you know, think of the ending of La La Land, right? That stare, that look between Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, right? That tells you so much about what they're feeling. That like words or a huge monologue cannot.
Yeah.
Same is true with like so many. There's this moment in The White Lotus season 2. Megan Fahey, like she has this moment. She looks away and then she looks back, and then just within the span of like 30 seconds, you can tell exactly what's going through in her head. Um, and I don't know. Yeah, to that point, I don't know. I mean, kudos to Mr. Fines. Like he really knows. He's really present, and obviously, I think that
Yeah.
kind of is what's needed to be a great performer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think what they also said was that the most like greatest actors are the most sympathetic people.
Absolutely.
Like you gotta connect with
100%.
the
Yeah.
worst of the like roles. Like
Yeah.
you can't judge a character.
It's just
right?
always coming from a perspective of understanding and curiosity and empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a. I think it was like it's not about the how. It's about the why.
Yeah.
It's like how do you play a white supremacist if you're not
Exactly.
right?
Like I saw this clip of Margot Robbie actually early in her career when she got the role of in Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh yeah.
And when she first read it, and she was still starting out acting, she was really like young in her career and very early, and she was like, "Oh, so this person, I'm auditioning for a Martin Scorsese movie, but why is this character just a gold digger?"
Yeah.
And then I think her acting coach or something, like somebody told her, like, "No, you can't think like that. Like she's a powerful woman who knows what she can do with her presence, and she goes after it. Like that's who she is. Like she's a very smart person who's going after things that she knows she can get,
Yeah.
and she's a very motivated person. And that's where that's who her character is, and that's the way in.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it was such a compelling performance, was because we saw that in her. Like she was going after the things that she wanted in her life,
Right.
even though her partner, played by Leo, or her, I don't even know the relationship in their movie, but it's like
Yeah.
it's weird. It's a really
They
weird
have a
storyline. But they have a
thing.
romantic kind of thing, even though he was married, um, and I think it really shined through. Yeah, so I think that's totally that's a wonderful point. It's like
Yeah.
actors are the most they have to be some of the most like empathetic and sympathetic people.
Yeah, and they have to know everything too. You know.
Yeah, dancing, singing,
Yeah.
different skills,
Yeah.
playing
And
instruments, all of it. Yeah,
it
the whole
was
shebang.
like it's quite cool because now I feel like I'm really excited to be able to direct again and really get into the actor's head and
Yeah.
understand how they work and like really bring it out of them, bring the character out of them
Yeah.
because they're not trying to imitate nobody. They're trying to find that part of themselves that are that character.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's been so helpful, and I really recommend if you get a chance to take
Yeah.
that class in the
Mhm.
future, it's so worth it.
Yeah, I might do something. I might watch some of the acting master classes on Masterclass. Natalie Portman, and
Those are good, but
I haven't really. Yeah, it doesn't compare to the in
it's
person.
just they're
experience.
actors. They're not coaches or
Coaches,
teachers,
right,
right?
right,
They can only tell you about their own personal experience, but not
right,
the whole broad how to do it.
right.
Because I went through the master class with Natalie
Okay.
Portman and all those people, and
Just didn't
I don't
quite
know.
hit the
And
way that
you just don't.
in-person lessons.
It's too much
Yeah.
about themselves and their own history that
Gotcha.
I don't know. But they do have a lot of online stuff that you can definitely check out too.
Yeah.
If you wanted to. I think but also I heard for me it's just so helpful because that's the one thing I want to do direct. I really can't see myself doing anything else like for the rest of my life. Like if I had to pick one job for the rest of my life, like that's directing. I don't know, I want to maybe be a little bit more like maybe more producing too and DPing, but also like and then at the end of the day it's like all connected by directing. And that's why I think this class was so important to me because I do want to I think to like being an actor is such a rich life because you get to live so many lives in one life, right? And the closest thing to just acting is directing, really. Because you're constantly working with them, making these stories come to life, and it's beautiful. I think it kind of reminds me of why we do it. It's to tell these stories, to live these lives, and our job is to give the people without a voice, right? And it's our obligation to do a good job of it, or what's the point of living? It's like that quote, obviously it's like so iconic from Dead Poets Society, repeated in fucking the studio. It was like
Yeah.
the doctors is what keep us alive, but art is what we're kept alive for.
I think Ethan Hawke said something similar. He was like, when you feel like, when you feel heartbreak, when you feel like you're on the top of the world, when you experience these extreme highs and extreme lows, most of the time extreme lows in your life, then art isn't just something that you have in life. Like it becomes sustenance. Like it's what you engage with to stay okay. And I think that's kind of why, that's why I got into filmmaking in the first place. Was like there were films that moved me and challenged me and like made me feel seen in ways that is really hard to describe in words. And I think in difficult times when I watch a movie that really resonates with me, then it is really sustenance, right? Like Boyhood is one. Dark, when I finished Dark, it's a very twisty tale, but it's a very simple message at the end, and that kind of all kind of helped me get through some really tough time in my own life and helped me learn, the value of gratitude and how much our loved ones are willing to do to save us, to help us. But at the end of the day, it's like we all have a lot going for us, and we're in very lucky positions already. And I don't know. Yeah, that's the power. That's the that's why we do it. The why is the most important part. Like the how we can figure out, the what we can figure out later. But like I think it's the why that we have to know every step of the way. Yeah.
No, for sure. But I'm looking forward to getting back to more film stuff. Like
Same here.
I got so many projects.
Exciting times. Well, I think that's a good point to end this podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed our conversation about acting and just how to approach
having
filmmaking.
a life.
And just having just like a life, because like most people on this planet are not filmmakers. The vast majority of people are not filmmakers, and we can't. It's really easy to live inside an echo chamber because of the people that we're friends with and the circle that we're in. But literally, like 99% of the population on this planet are not filmmakers, and we have to be aware of that, and to actively, search for life outside of this immediate sphere. But
100%. Well, great. Thank you guys so much for watching, and
thank you for
you
tuning
guys
in.
are beautiful people for staying to the end.
Absolutely.
Love you guys.
Peace.